I've been very like disappointed and just bitter towards WWE over the last few years, especially the last year. But like in that moment, I was just like a little kid again, seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon face to face in the ring. And it was just cool. It was like really awesome to see that. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chicken, and today I'm going to be doing a review of WrestleMania Night 2. If you guys haven't seen it, it's already on my second channel. I did a reaction to Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens main event, and also kind of touched up on my feelings of Night 1, but just a quick recap about Night 1. Overall, I did say I thought the show started off pretty mediocre with some of the matches they had early on, but the two women's championship matches, I like both of those matches. I like Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch match. I thought that was a really good match. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, that was I was on the fence about the Cody Rhodes thing until, kind of started to settle in a little bit. So with knowing his intentions after seeing the promo he cut on Raw, I feel a little bit better about it, and, I hope the best for him. And that was a really great match. Also, the main event, surprising main event, seeing Steve Austin return to the ring, because I thought it was going to be just a little promo segment, but it developed into a match. And it was really cool to see Steve Austin at his 50s, 19 years after his last match, have a match. And I think he did a really great job, especially for his age, especially being away from the ring that long. So, yeah, very proud of Steve Austin, very proud of Kevin Owens, and very happy for Kevin Owens for being able to get that spot there on WrestleMania Night 1. So, overall, I'll say it was more good than bad in Night 1. I like pretty much half of the show, or more than half of the show. So, yeah, pretty much overall, I'm pretty satisfied with it. But let's get to Night 2. Night 2. All right, let's start. We're gonna do this one differently, obviously, because I haven't talked about these matches. But we're gonna go through the card. The show started with Triple H. He laid his boots in the ring and he introduced WrestleMania, and then went on to the first match of the night, which was for the Raw Tag Team Championships. RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle, the tag team champions, retained the championships against the Street Profits and Otis and Gable. Then they had the wrestler Gable Stevens, I believe his name is. He came in the ring because he was invited to party with RK Bro and the Street Profits. And then Gable kind of interrupted and told him, like, listen up, kid, which I thought, like, it was kind of interesting seeing those two, because Gable is such a talented mat wrestler. And but Gable Stevens, obviously Olympic level athlete, but he did an overhead belly to belly on Chad Gable that I thought looked really beautiful. So that showed me some promise. So in that regard, I'm looking forward to seeing his development, and hopefully, he does turn out to be a great performer. But yeah, overall, the match itself was okay. It wasn't nothing mind blowing. It was kind of predictable seeing the championships stay on RK Bro, which I really haven't been following Raw, so, and I don't really have a problem with it. I know that these guys are very popular, and they've been in the tag team division for quite some time now, so we'll see, what they do going forward. But for me, the match was okay. I didn't have really much problems with it. Then we had Omos and Bobby Lashley, which this is the biggest challenge we've seen Omos have up until this point. Most of the matches he's squashing people. And my main problem with Omos is that he doesn't have that explosiveness like somebody like Brock Lesnar or Bobby Lashley have. So he has the size and he's this big monster, but he's just not explosive. And that's like one of my major issues with him. But overall, I think he did look kind of good in this match. Yeah, it was a fairly short match. It wasn't too long, which was probably a good thing. And Bobby Lashley got the win. Yeah, overall, that was okay for me too. I didn't have any problems with that. Actually was very much into the match when I was watching it. So shout out to those two. And I haven't seen everything from Raw yet, but I did see that Omos and MVP kind of turned on Bobby Lashley, which, I think that's a good route to go for Omos, giving him somebody else in his corner, especially an MVP. I think that's going to be great for him and his development. But yeah, still want to see some more like explosiveness from him going forward. But, everybody can develop and get better and improve. So much luck to him in that regard. Then we had Sami Zayn, my boy Sami Zayn, which is one of my favorite wrestlers in WWE. I think he's super talented. Love what he did in NXT back in the day But you know, I was very, very bitter going into WrestleMania. I'm not even gonna lie. Like the setup, the card, some of the build up to some of the matches were just so mediocre and so bad. And you know, it was kind of like unfortunate to see, like, going into WrestleMania, that Seth Rollins didn't really have a match. He was struggling to get a match, and then he finally, you know, they gave him the mystery opponent storyline. But ultimately, that worked out. Same thing with Kevin Owens getting the main event with Steve Austin. So it ultimately did work out. And but this was another case because, you know, we had Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, like I said, super talented. But seeing him like paired up against Johnny Knoxville was just like, man, like, it's so many wrestlers, like the Intercontinental Champion and U.S. Champion, like missing the show, not going to be on the show. A lot of talent didn't make the show, and this was one of the matches that did get booked on the show. But ultimately, I was very entertained with this match. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a very fun match, very entertaining match. They did some really goofy stuff. They had Wee Man come out. They had the Naked Man, or whatever he's called, the other dude from Jackass, come out doing his little dance in the ring. Yeah, this wasn't like, you know what I mean, super serious match. It was just very fun and very entertaining. So I enjoyed it. They had a little mousetrap gimmick with the table, with a bunch of mousetraps set on top of the table. And Sami Zayn got tossed off the top rope through the table, which was a really cool spot. They had like this one spot with the Sami Zayn was on the top rope and sparks like came out of it and he like fell. So it was super silly, super goofy. Then they had like a little, I guess, box or whatever, but with the mouse trap at the end. But before I get to that, they also had like this little thing with a boot kicking Sami Zayn in the nuts or whatever. Either way, like I said, it was just fun. But yeah, they closed the match with a mouse trap, and like I said, it was a botch with it. Like, it didn't go off correctly, so Johnny Knoxville had to kind of like mess with it a little bit to get it to go off, and that's how he was able to pin Sami Zayn. But overall, I didn't have a problem with it. I was smiling, and I was enjoying the match, so I give it a thumbs up. Then got a little bit more serious. We got the wrestlers, the grapplers in there. This was like the equivalent of Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins the night before, but we had AJ Styles versus Edge. It's probably the most solid match on the card for night 2, and I thought these guys had really good chemistry. It was a really, really good match, back and forth, like a lot of good false finishes and things of that nature that I felt really good about. And the ending, the conclusion of the match, Damien Priest came out, which was good for him, you know, to get that appearance there at WrestleMania. He had like a different look than I'm used to seeing him. I don't know if he's, what he's been doing, but I know he was a U.S. champion for a long time and then lost it and kind of struggled a little bit after turning heel. But yeah, they aligned him with Edge, so he just kind of stood there, and AJ Styles was about to do the phenomenal forearm, kind of looked at him, hesitated for a second, jumped up to do the phenomenal forearm, and Edge caught him in midair, hit him with the spear, 1, 2, 3. Edge gets the win, which I was completely fine with. Because Edge, especially from last year's WrestleMania, that triple threat, yeah, that's what got me off of WWE, man. That triple threat, seeing Daniel Bryan and Edge both get stacked on top of each other, that really soured me a lot with WWE. I mean, they were already like pushing it before that, but like that was like the last straw. I was like, I'm done. I can't do this, man. I cannot keep going, man. But so I think it was a good win for Edge. I think he needed that, to go, along with his career. AJ didn't really need it. And Damien Priest, I think this is a good look for him, having somebody like Edge, kind of be his mentor. Because to me, like, he was just kind of boring and plain before. So, he kind of seemed like he has a little bit more edge to him. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, so I liked it, man. I liked the match. I liked them aligning at the end. I thought that was pretty cool. Then we had Sasha Banks and Naomi, my girls, winning the tag team championships, the women's tag team championships, which I was happy about. I know that's not a championship that has been like heavily focused on, but I love Sasha Banks. I love Naomi, so I was very happy to see them come out to win. I thought it went like kind of predictable to have the champions retain there, but yeah, I thought they made the right call, having my girls get it. Sasha Banks, Naomi both looked very happy after the match, so I was just happy for them. And I know how much this would. You could tell, and I know from the history, Naomi missing WrestleMania in the past, that this really meant a lot to them. So it was cool to see. Then we had Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. I really haven't given Austin Theory a chance because his gimmick is so cheesy and corny. You know, the selfie guy and all that stuff. But they had Vince McMahon come out to the ring and introduce Austin Theory as a future WWE Universal Champion, which in itself is just like, what? You know, Vince McMahon actually giving you that kind of stamp. Yeah. But the match itself was really awesome. The crowd reaction for Pat McAfee was freaking dope as hell. The crowd was going like nuts and bananas the entire time. Just like they were so loud and they were so into this match. And Pat McAfee just did his thing, man. This dude did a hurricanrana. He missed a swanton off the top rope. I mean, super athletic in this match. He did his springboard. He just ran up the top rope and grabbed Austin Theory off the top rope and did a superplex. This is like a really good match. I thought they both did a really good job in this. I think Austin Theory, like I said, I might not be the biggest fan of his gimmick, but I still think he did a good job playing his role as the villain in this match. So as you guys can see so far, and I was enjoying this WrestleMania night 2. I was very much entertained throughout the course of the show. Pat McAfee got the win against Austin Theory. He did a roll up. Austin Theory had him up on his shoulders, doing a little bragging to the crowd, and then Pat got behind him and did a little roll up. 1, 2, 3, got the win. Crowd going nuts. That was awesome. But it got even better. It got even more awesome when Vince McMahon was challenged by Pat McAfee, and Vince took his jacket off. Crowd's going crazy. Take his shirt off and gets in the ring. I'm like, are you serious? Are you really doing this? And I thought it was really cool to see Vince in the ring. He just basically squashed Pat though. Like did a couple clotheslines on him, and Austin Theory kind of helped him out. Referee was too scared to like really do anything. Vince McMahon like grabbed the football and like punted it into his ribs, and then eventually just covered up Pat and got the 1, 2, 3, which, you know, it's Vince. He's the boss. He can do whatever he wants. And then he put a little icing on the cake with the heat by letting Austin Theory come back in the ring and kind of take the celebration. He even told them like to cut his music off and let Austin Theory celebrate on all 4 corners of the ring. So they was like building up this heat. And then freaking Stone Cold Steve Austin goes out to the ring, bro. Like that glass shattered. That shit brought me back to my childhood. It brought me back to my like high school days when I was watching the Attitude Era stuff, Steve Austin and Vince McMahon. It was such a freaking moment for me. Like I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I've been very, very like disappointed and just bitter towards WWE over the last few years, especially the last year. But like in that moment, I was just like a little kid again, seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon face to face in the ring. And it was just cool. It was like really awesome to see that. Austin, you know, he dispatches of Austin Theory, give him a stunner, gets him out of there. He gives Vince a beer, and he probably gave Vince McMahon like the worst looking stunner like you ever see in your life. After he kicked him in the stomach, and Vince almost like died. Austin tried to pick her back up and give him the stunner, but he ended up pulling it off. I was just worried about it. I was like, man, this dude's like 70 something years old. Like, come on, man. But yeah, so that was cool. Then Austin called Pat McAfee back into the ring and gave him some beers, a little celebration, some toast, some of them Steve Wazzers, and then he stunned Pat, which I thought Pat selling on the stunner was really cool as well. And there was a really cool shot at the end of like Pat laying on the floor, like just putting the beer in his mouth. So, man, like I can't believe like I was this entertained by a WWE program. So, like I said, I didn't like the setup. I didn't like the booking. I didn't like a lot of things going into this show, but I was thoroughly entertained. That was one of the very much so one of the highlights of the weekend for this show. And shout out to Ring of Honor, by the way. They had a really great show as well. But anyways, the main event. I'm not a fan of these guys, Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. I wasn't a fan of them unifying the championships because I just thought, you know, maybe more people that I actually like could have opportunities if it's 2 championships. But the promos, the packages, and things like that, it made it feel like a big deal. Both superstars do feel like big stars. They do feel like big names, big wrestlers. So it did like put like a certain level of prestige on the match and the championships by having them face. So, I was in it, I mean, I was like, I'm all for it, I hope for the best. Match itself wasn't that good. I don't think it was the best match these guys had, but and the finish was like kind of like, I don't know, I want to say fall flat, but it was abrupt. And yeah, I'm assuming because Roman looked like he hurt, like seriously hurt his shoulder during the match, so like that might possibly have something to do with it. But yeah, this wasn't the strongest match, but lately the main events of WrestleMania haven't been like that strong to me. So like over the last like 3 or 4 years, the final match, night 2 or whatever, like the last match hasn't been really that good. And to me, this was like one of the, I guess, weak points of the entire show. But everything going up until this point was like so entertaining, so fun that it was just like this is like the icing on the cake, I guess. Roman got the win after I think about the 4th spear. He hit a spear on the outside like early on. Paul Heyman was begging to Brock Lesnar like, I love you, take me back, please, take me back," which I thought was pretty funny. And then Roman spears Brock right through the barricade. But yeah, it was like a typical Brock Lesnar Goldberg match of late, where it's just like finisher heavy, a lot of just big moves. Brock did do a couple German suplex, some overhead belly to bellies. Brock can do that. What I mean, I think Brock looks like amazing when he's in the ring. Like the fluidity and the explosiveness and all that kind of stuff. It just looks good when he's wrestling. But like I said, the match kind of fell a little flat. Didn't kind of have the most dynamic of conclusions. But either way, that's my review and my thoughts on night 2, of WrestleMania. Overall, I say WrestleMania itself, the completion, night 1 and night 2 was a success. The areas of night 1 that kind of fell short for me was the Mysterios losing. That was an outcome in the match, but also Miz just randomly turning on Logan Paul. I just thought that was kind of like weird and lame. And even the Mysterios losing, I thought like it would have been a cool moment for them to get that, but whatever. The tag team championship match, I didn't like that setup. I didn't like Shinsuke being in that position, but I was also just happy for him to be there on the card. The match was just whatever. It was okay. And what else match they had from night 1? Oh, almost forgot. From night 2, I almost forgot. It was so short. They had a New Day versus Sheamus and crew with Butch or Budge or whatever the fuck his name is. Pete Dunne renamed character. They got him this weird gimmick where he's like this crazy. I guess this is one of the weaker points of WrestleMania as well. Night 2. But yeah, they basically squashed the New Day in like 2 minutes. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that, but at the same time, I mean, I didn't really care to see Sheamus and crew. Like, I really don't care about those guys at all. So it's like the quicker you get them in front of me, like the better, I guess. But at the same time, I felt a little bad for Kofi and Xavier Woods because they were kind of dedicating this to Big E, who got hurt, seriously hurt, got his neck broke, and they were squashed like pretty bad fashion. So overall, like I said, it was more good than bad. Like it was a couple things that I didn't like, but it was more that I did, especially everything Steve Austin was awesome. So anyways, that's my thoughts. What you guys think about WrestleMania? What's your opinion and thoughts? Do this give you guys more intrigue in WWE, or are you guys already been satisfied with what has been going on with them? For me personally, like especially like Cody Rhodes thing, like I'm just kind of more curious to see how that develops with him. I saw that Omos turned on Lashley, and Lashley's being positioned as a face. So like I'm curious about that kind of stuff too. I'm gonna watch Raw. I'm gonna try. Well, I might watch it. I might watch the highlights or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna check out what's going on in WWE. I'm gonna try to kind of keep my eye on it and see if they kind of improving and doing better. But I think I don't know. I just hope for the best. I hope for the best. And yeah, we'll see what's going on with Roman and the championship picture, because they've been really bad at building stars, making people seem credible as superstars, as main event type people. So that's something I'm hoping for the best. And I did see also on Raw, I'm gonna mention this too while I'm here, might as well, that they had Elias / Ezekiel thing going on there. I don't know what's up with that. It looked like Elias just shaved his beard off, and he's like, I'm his brother, Ezekiel. But yeah, I haven't really seen too much of what's going on there, but what's going on there? Anyways, all right, y'all, I'm going to go wrap this up. Thanks for watching the video. I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't pressed it yet, or you're new to the channel. Join your boy as we continue to try to grow here on YouTube. If you guys want to see more of this kind of content, let me know. Let me know in the comment section below, and share the video with your friends. Love you. Stay amazing. Peace out.
I'm getting bigger and bigger. I check my views. I log in on YouTube. When I looked at my channel 2 weeks ago, I only got 1 star in all my videos. I'm not trying to beg, I'm not trying to bribe, I'm just asking you to subscribe. This is the end of my rhyme, the end of this thing. Want more? Just click on this link.